Today's day 78, and it's the start of week 12 of the Border to Border Calendar Year Triple Crown. This morning when I got moving, my knee was hurting so much worse than it was yesterday, and it was super uncomfortable just within the first couple of miles. Day 77. I'm hurting. It's still definitely worse today, obviously, because my knee is super bruised, so it just got probably worse last night, I guess. The climbing's not so bad, but the downhill's really uncomfortable. Like a mile into the day, we met Iceman. He had breakfast for us. We had to do a river crossing because the bridge is out. We just climbed for a few miles, and now we're kind of dropping down to this road before you begin to climb up to Dragon's Tooth. I'm not looking forward to the descent off of Dragon's Tooth. It's gonna hurt. The downhill just hurts so bad right now. And then 16 and a half miles in for the day is Four Pines Hostel, but we were planning on just going there for an hour or two so I can get my YouTube video up and a couple other things done, and then go to that shelter that's right before McAfee Knob so we can get it for sunrise tomorrow, and then do a short day into Daleville. I don't want to walk another mile today, but I don't really believe for a second that this is just gonna get better taking today off. I'm just really bruised. I'm not super worried that I'm doing damage to my body, but yeah, it just hurts really bad. I fell full force onto a rock yesterday. So might as well just get the miles in tomorrow and do a short day or miles in today. Do a short day tomorrow, because I can't imagine that I feel even that much better tomorrow if we take the rest of the day off today. So we'll see. Trying to be positive. I'm not worried that this is gonna take me out for the year. I'm just not really looking forward to hiking in 8 out of 10 pain for the next, even few days, or maybe a week. We'll just see what happens. When I get down to this road in a couple miles, I know Iceman's there, so that'll be nice. Just I'm slow as hell, can't even remotely see Punisher up ahead. He's super far ahead. Everything just hurts so bad. I have to go so slow. It's just annoying. Those next couple of hours as I made my way down to the parking lot were pretty tough. I was in a lot of pain. Just every different motion was super uncomfortable. Downhill, uphill, stepping on the rocks at different angles. Everything just hurt a different part of my kneecap. But I got down to the parking lot. Punisher was there. Iceman was there. Had a soda and some snacks, and I took some ibuprofen. And then within 30 minutes, I felt so much better. Then we were able to leave there and start heading up towards the Dragon's Tooth area. And I was really surprised just how much of a difference it made once I got the inflammation down. My knee was still sore to the touch, but it wasn't sore walking anymore, which just made a huge difference. The rest of the day just felt so easy. And I was really glad, because at that point earlier in the day, I really didn't think I could keep going at the pain level I was at. Once you go up and by Dragon's Tooth, it's a really steep descent down to the next road. In this area, there's Four Pines Hostel and there's a gas station for resupply options. Iceman met us at the road, drove us to the gas station to grab some goodies, and then we went to hang out at Four Pines for a little bit. I had some editing to get done, but it turned out they didn't have Wi-Fi or service there, so instead we just hiked back out and we wound up doing McAfee Knob tonight instead of tomorrow morning. And we got up there right as the sun was starting to set. It was really beautiful, and it was just the perfect way to end the day.
Totally fine.
Are you guys from around here, or?
We're from like Central PA.
Okay, sweet. So from here, you guys have...
Today's day 79, and we left the shelter this morning and got to get up towards Tinker Cliffs right as the sun was coming up, which was a super beautiful way to start the day. We didn't even really plan it out, it sort of just happened, and I just loved this section of trail. It was really rocky, exposed, just huge slabs of boulders and stuff lining the trails. But Tinker Cliffs was definitely one of the most beautiful parts of the day, just like completely wide open views. It was such a beautiful way to start our day. And we only had about 16 or so miles to go to get to the road where you can walk into Daleville. It's day 79, and I never did like a follow-up yesterday at the end of the day. I just didn't get a chance to talk about how my knee had been and everything like that. The one clip that I'm gonna leave it in because I just think it's great, honestly. Like, I was feeling yesterday morning, I was feeling terrible. My knee hurt so bad. Within the first 7 miles, it was just so uncomfortable. At first, it was just downhill. Uphill wasn't so bad. And then just, I think as time went on, it just started getting irritated at a bunch of different angles and it hurt. So 7 or 8 miles into the day yesterday, we got down to a road where Iceman was. And I was just wondering, how am I gonna do, 18 more miles of this today? It hurt so much. While we sat there and had a snack and a soda, I took ibuprofen. And then by the time we left and started walking again, I felt so much better. So it's clearly just like a lot of swelling and inflammation that was maybe putting pressure on other things, because the whole rest of the day, like, my knee's still sore because it's, very bruised, but it didn't hurt going up, downhill, maneuvering. Like, it was just felt like I had a huge bruise on my knee. But before the ibuprofen, it felt like I was hurting myself. So yesterday wound up starting at like a pretty low and turned into a great day. We did Dragon's Tooth. After that, I felt great. And then we descended down to the road where you can go to Four Pines. We got some goodies at the gas station nearby. And then I went to Four Pines. I was hoping I could use internet or Wi-Fi and get some video work done, but they don't have Wi-Fi and I didn't have service there. But we just chilled for a while, ate some food. They had a really cute doggy. And then originally we were planning on going to the shelter just before McAfee Knob, which would have been like a 25-mile day. But because I didn't have to spend 2-3 hours doing any work yesterday, we wound up going all the way up. So we saw Iceman at the last road crossing 4 miles from McAfee. And then we're gonna see him tomorrow today, but as of then, we said goodbye. We'd see him in the morning, climbed up to McAfee. It was not as bad as I remembered. It was a beautiful climb. And we got up to the top just about the time the sun was going down. Beautiful, great views. And then we went to the shelter just down past there. Ran into this guy at cruise control who's been following the videos and stuff, which is cool. And then just set up in the shelter for the night. So then today, day 79, we only had 15.5 miles to go to get to the road to Daleville. Got down to the road, right before 11 a.m., which is amazing. Iceman met us. He just drove us to the gear shop to get fuel and then to Walmart to get a bunch of goodies. I have a ton of stuff. I got cake and dip and stuff to eat here. I'm gonna like get a meal in town, at least one. But I didn't want to feel rushed, so I got some goodies just so I could eat something while we like shower and get situated. And we said goodbye to Iceman, which is sad. He's been the best, dude. He is so nice. And it's just been a delight hanging out with him. He's really funny. He's quiet, but once you like kind of crack in to the shell, he's just really funny, super nice guy. And it's really interesting, like all of the people that he's worked with, like these huge names in ultra running and FKT trail stuff. It's pretty sick. But he's going home. We said goodbye to him. Maybe we'll see him again when we get further north. But now it's like super early. It's just around 1 and we're gonna hang out all day. I have so much editing and work to do. And it's like final time for tax stuff and things like that. But I'm excited to rest. My body feels good. My knee feels pretty good. It's just very sore to the touch. Doesn't hurt while walking. I would say overall, I kind of just feel like I got hit by a car or like in a car accident. Like my shoulder's sore, my wrist is sore, my knee is tender to the touch, which is, once I take this tape off, like I have it taped right now. I'll have to show what it looks like because I'm curious how big the bruise is now, because it hurts just to lightly touch it, but it doesn't hurt hiking, at least like not significantly, so it's not gonna mess me up. But yeah, we're hanging, we're eating, we're gonna have a nice chill day. For the rest of the day, we just hung out, ate a bunch of food, and relaxed at the room. Today's day 80, and we decided to zero today. Really, for no particular reason. The weather isn't bad. The bruise on my knee isn't that bad either. It's getting so much better already. But we woke up this morning, we were tired. I just wasn't in the mood to walk. And right now, we only have to average 21 miles a day to finish the AT by the end of May, and only have to average 26 miles a day to finish by mid-May if Katahdin opens early. So we have the time, and it just felt like a perfect day to chill out and relax. I have some video work and editing to get done and things like that. So we're just laying low, hanging out in Daleville. We'll get back to walking tomorrow, but it just feels so good to get to sleep in and chill, rest and relax. And I think with like the big bruise on my knee, now is a good time to take a day if we can. For the rest of the day, we did a whole lot of nothing. I just got a bunch of calories in, took a bath, and then just chilled out for the rest of the day. Today's day 81, and even after zeroing yesterday, we still slept in a little bit this morning, got packed up, and got back to the trail around 9:30. But it was a fairly chill day. We had a decent amount of elevation gain to do, but it was mostly just rolling hills on and off, and we only planned to go about 25 or 26 miles to a shelter, so it was going to be a fairly light and easy day. The end of day 81. We slept in a little later than we probably should in Daleville, even after zeroing yesterday, of course. Packed up, we were out by like 9-ish, walking on the trail 9:30. Just did like 25, maybe closer to 26 miles. got to a shelter for the night. Supposed to be maybe 40-mile-per-hour winds tonight, so it's just before 6. We definitely could keep going, but it'll be nice to be in a shelter just if the wind's crazy and trees are going down or anything like that. We're like 30-ish miles from Glasgow, so kind of depending if Stanimals is open, maybe we'll go into Glasgow and stay tomorrow night. We'll just have to see what happens, but it's a good day. Knee felt great today. It was beautiful weather. It felt like the day really went by quick, which was awesome. I'm just getting after it. It is day 82. This morning we had a nice early start. We're about 32 miles from the road where you can get a ride into Glasgow, and we're hoping to stay at Stanimals tonight. They're technically not open for the season until April 1st, but we'd heard that they're trying to accommodate early hikers if possible, so we just figured we'd get a super early start and try to get there as quickly as we could. For most of the morning, we just had some rolling hills, nothing too crazy. And then we spent a few hours heading up towards Apple Orchard Mountain, which was a pretty long and continuous climb. It wasn't too bad though. It took maybe 2-3 hours, but we got some great views, and we were up top of there around 11 a.m., already 16 miles in for the day. So we reached out to Daytona Mike, who works at Stanimals, told him we'd be there in about 5.5 hours, and just planned to get down to the road around 5 p.m. and he could come and pick us up. And we're going to be the first northbound hikers of the season to stay at Stanimals, which is pretty cool. After we started descending off of Apple Orchard Mountain, there wasn't too much elevation gain to do for the day, just a couple rolling hills here and there, but nothing long and continuous like we'd been doing for most of the day. And we did a lot of really cool ridge walking where like you had some awesome views. The trail was really narrow. And then eventually we dropped down to the James River, which is a really beautiful section of the trail. You walk around like a small river for a while, and then you're walking along the really big James River until you cross the bridge to get closer to the road to Glasgow. The time flew by. I was pretty surprised we were going to be getting there even before 5 p.m. after a 32-mile day.
Do you know what those are?
These?
What are they?
I couldn't say. By the time that we crossed over the bridge and we were just about to get to the road, we actually saw a boat, and they were calling out because the guys recognized me from my blog, which was probably the most hilarious sighting yet. Just like a couple guys floating down a river hollering, seeing if I was peg leg. And then we got to the road maybe 4:15, and then Daytona Mike and Gio came and picked us up. We got some dinner, just like relaxed, showered, and hung out at Stanimals for the rest of the night. It was just a super awesome way to end a 32-mile day. It's day 83. This morning we slept in a little bit at Stanimal's and then had breakfast around 6:30. Daytona Mike and Gio made pancakes. They were so good. And Stanimal's does like an all-you-can-eat breakfast, so we ate a ridiculous amount of pancakes. I finished off some chocolate milk, and then we got moving. It was raining a little bit this morning, but not so bad that you needed rain gear. and the day started with about a 3,000 foot climb, continuous for like 2-3 hours, which definitely set the tone for the rest of the day. When we got up top of Bluff Mountain, this marked the end of the first really big climb of the day, but I knew over the course of the day we have a ridiculous amount of elevation gain to do. Originally, we were thinking we were going to do about 30 miles, so it would have maybe been 7,000 or 8,000 feet of gain, but then we decided we were going to do maybe like 36 miles for the day, which meant we would be doing closer to 10,500 feet of elevation gain.
Bounce!
When we were about 22 miles in for the day, we crossed a road, and I'd been in touch with someone named Counselor who wanted to come out and support us, and he met us at the road, brought us Subway and soda, Gatorade, ice cream, and a bunch of other goodies, which was absolutely perfect. We were all like already super hungry, and we'd done 22 miles for the day, and at this point we still had 14 miles to go. So this was just going to be the perfect way to fuel up for a really long day. And that got me moving. When we left the parking area and said goodbye to him, we had another massive climb to do, and this one was super steep. But after we got to the top of that climb, the rest of the day was a little bit easier. It's the end of day 83. We left Glasgow this morning at like 7:30, had breakfast with Stanimal, hit the trail like 8 a.m. And we were originally only gonna do like 30 miles to a tent site. Pretty good day, feeling good. It rained like for the first few hours of the day. It was light enough you didn't need rain gear. Did like a really big climb to start the day. Last time I was here in 2023, we slack packed it and it was still super hard. So we did like 3,000 feet of climbing in the first couple hours of the day. 22 miles into the day, this guy met us, whose trail name is Counselor. We've been going back and forth on Instagram. Super nice guy. He brought us like Subway and soda, bunch of trail magic. And like just before we got there, we decided instead of doing a 30-mile day, so we would have had like 8 miles left, we decided to do a 36-mile day. So when we left him, we ate a ton of food. We still had 14 miles left. Wasn't too bad. I mean, ton of elevation gain today, probably like close to 10,000 feet. And then of course, we just got to the shelter at like 8:20. It's only 3 people in it, but they're section hikers. They're spread out. They have a dog. So we're tenting, which is great. After a 36-mile day, it's all I wanted to do, but it's not the end of the world. We're set up, just gonna chill for the rest of the night. I'm not gonna cook dinner. I'm just gonna eat some snacks and go to bed. We have another big day headed tomorrow. I couldn't resist taking a video of the section hikers bear hang, which was 4.5, maybe 5 feet off the ground. Today's day 84, and even though we were hiking pretty late last night and did a really big day, I still got up around 5 a.m. and we probably left camp around 6. We had maybe 6.5 miles to go to get up towards the priest shelter, which was actually a lot easier of a climb than I remembered. In my memory, it was just like a ridiculously steep climb, but it was graded pretty well, and we got to watch a beautiful sunrise as we got up towards there. And then you have a really steep descent down to the next road before we began a really big climb. In 2023, when I was going through this section, I opted to take a blue trail called the Mau Har Trail. It cuts off 4 miles, and it pretty much just brings you from one shelter to the next, and it saves 1,000 feet of elevation gain. But because we're doing the calendar year Triple Crown, I'm not taking alternate routes. I'm not skipping miles or anything like that. I'm just redlining the AT like a purist would pretty much, which isn't normally how I operate on trails, but for this mission it is. So we didn't get to do that, which meant we had to do the really big climb up to 3 ridges, which was rocky, and it was a little bit steep at times, but luckily it's tiered, so you pretty much did 1,000 feet and then it leveled out a bit. Then you did 1,000 more feet, it leveled out a bit, and so on and so on. There were some really great views when you got up towards the top, and I just took my time. I knew we had all day, so there was no rush. After coming up and down off of 3 Ridges Mountain, the trail was pretty level for the rest of the day. There was like the occasional hill and small climb, but nothing in comparison to that 3,000 plus foot climb. And we were pretty much just heading towards Dripping Rock parking area, which was going to be 27 miles in for the day. And we've been talking with Starlord and Sunshine, 2 through hikers that Punisher knows. And I met Starlord in passing on the CDT last year. So they're going to pick us up when we get to the parking lot. All right, day 84. We woke up like 5 o'clock this morning, coffee, and then had like 6 or so miles to go to get to Priest Shelter. It's like a little bit of a climb, nothing too crazy. And then we had, I'm trying to think, you come down, it's like a huge descent off Priest, and it's actually kind of exciting. There's a section of trail I've never done before, because in 2023 there's this like alternate, it starts with an M, Mao something. It's like you can do waterfalls. It cuts off 4 miles and 1,000 feet of elevation, and it takes you around 3 Ridges Mountain or something. But we're redlining because we're doing the calendar. So we did that. Never done it before. There's a lot of elevation gain, probably like 7 miles, like 3,000 feet. Wasn't too bad. It was just kind of steep at times. Steep coming down off of that, and then it's been like pretty chill for the rest of the day. We just got to Dripping Rock parking area, and it looks like we're gonna get picked up. Not really totally sure what's gonna happen, but we did 27 miles. It's 3:40. It's been raining lightly, so it's like, seems like a couple hikers are gonna pick us up. We're gonna sleep indoors tonight. We'll see what happens. It's the end of the day, day 84. We wound up doing 27 miles, and then we got out to a trailhead. Starlord and Sunshine picked us up. I actually met Starlord on the Wind River High Route when I was on the CDT, like in passing, and he knew 9 Lives. So they just picked us up earlier today, like 3:30. They have a cabin, so we're like hanging out there at the cabin. They drove us into Waynesboro. We went to the Asian buffet there. Just been chilling. Super nice. It rained a little bit today, so I'm glad that we got to stay inside and like get out of the rain and everything. And this is the end of week 12. Did 163-ish miles this week. Not the best, not the worst. I mean, we took a 0 and we took a Nero, so it's not that bad. But yeah, we've been ripping the last few days, feeling good. Did 36 miles yesterday, 27 today by 3:30, so not bad. See y'all in week 13.